Friday? Could we meet with Nancy, Barbara, if she's available?
Friday afternoon?
Yeah, 2 o'clock? Like, is that a good, that's a good time for you? You'd rather do that than any other
Yeah.
day?
Yeah, because I'm here. No,
You're
choosing what I get done.
Yeah, okay. I'll see if Wendy's coming tonight, Stephanie's coming tonight. I don't know about Martha, I'm sure. I don't know what she does on Fridays. But I send out these emails and nobody answers me. So, you know. I send texts.
You get used to it.
Huh?
Let's send out to a planning board.
They don't even pay attention.
No. Oh,
Probably they can't get their email.
the only thing I get back is that they got it. And it's been delivered to them.
They probably don't know how to sign on, and they don't have a device that works with it, you know, and I don't, we're gonna keep moving away. I have no problem with Outlook. Here, I mean, I can see it, I can sign on from my house with my own personal computer to this system.
Yeah.
And get Outlook. Wasn't even hard.
I don't do anything with my phone as far as.
No, I don't do it on my phone.
No.
I have my own
I
personal
can
email.
hear- I come in here and use this computer.
Right.
When I need to.
Yeah. But as far as going to Outlook at home, I do that. It's not a problem. And I don't even remember how I did it, it just wasn't hard.
Mm.
You know, so I will ask Nancy tomorrow if she can come Friday. It might be too soon. And the other problem is, I won't be here next week, so it would be pushed out to April, the last Friday, the first Friday in April. Are you gonna be around then?
Yeah.
In case
Hopefully.
she should have everything pretty close to being done. She's done her field work.
Have all the adjustments been made?
No, and,
The $1 million hasn't been put in the.
I found it in the audit report. It was, I have 60 adjusting entries, but there's been more that's been made. And I don't have those. Nobody has them except Julie, because she's made some.
What's the balance
The balance on what?
on the account that the $1 million is supposed to be?
The audit just wanted it put into the capital reserve.
Did she do it?
Not in any report that I have. Okay.
So
So
it's
it's
still
pending,
minus.
it's pending, yes, but that $1 million is all spent,
I know.
you know, but, she's got pending activity, which means she has badges that she hasn't posted. She won't post them, so sign it. Okay, when they sign it, they're saying they agree with the audit.
That's what I told her. Wait and bring in 100%.
Well, they should at this point.
Hmm?
They should at this point.
Uh-uh.
Let her post them, and then she has to make all the correcting entries in 2025. Okay. I want to see,
Did Stephanie ever get an answer? Hey, did she go?
no, it takes 90 days. You should put those in. It takes 90 days.
I'm giving them something tonight. She was the wrong one when she one balance.
Wait.
Well, yeah.
No, I'm not putting Jerry next to me. Fuck yourself. And I'll be in the middle. Brady, whatever's gonna make you happy, I will do. Whatever's gonna make you happy.
I'm putting these down in the order they were here.
Who's that?
Jerry.
You?
Me.
No.
Next week it will change again.
No, why?
Because we'll have another person.
I had to have another person.
They didn't swear me in today.
I'm not sworn in. Jerry's not sworn in.
Then we can't have a meeting.
She's supposed to be here to swear us in.
yes, when it's in the
She doesn't send a separate check
I don't know, but she's never come to the meetings before.
Well, she usually reads the results.
Last year I did, because she didn't come. We won't be able to have a meeting before we get announced one way.
Okay, that I didn't ask for, and I had 0 left, so I lost 4 hours.
In December.
And she paid you.
I don't know.
It would be on your pay stub. It's like in a, it's like in the middle of it.
I know, she paid me.
But you said your EPL still shows up? 40. 40, so you have 40, oh, but you're not getting any more. So she hasn't paid you your EPL, and you asked her to in writing. They want copies of pay stubs, they want proof, not just statements, you know.
Give me Jerry's folder. Why? I don't want to sit next to her. Then you sit right here.
No, I don't want to sit next to him. I want to sit in the middle. I'm delicate. Oh, shit, I forgot my...
We're here early. We're here early. Pretty early. Should be delayed pending a recount.
Thank you. That's from the engineer.
Okay, thank you.
Jerry, come over here. Sit down. That's the information on this parking lot over here.
Okay.
Next to
the
the last
warrants
page,
done?
it shows
I have them.
the stages we were talking about. We agreed to do it in stages.
Mm-hmm.
And, so we got some heavy engineering gonna be done there.
I'm sure. Where were the, did you bring in that file for the, those applicants?
No, I can go grab it.
Yeah.
Um,
Still got 2 minutes.
I still have 2 minutes. Good evening. The time is 7 p.m. Welcome to the March 16th, 2026 Board of Select Persons meeting. Please join me in the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I look for a motion to accept the warrants.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right. I look for a motion to approve the warrants from the week of March 9th.
So moved. Seconded.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? All right. And I look for a motion to approve the March 2nd meeting minutes.
So moved. Seconded.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right. And would somebody read the announcements, please?
Town reports are available at the town office. The planning board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, March 18th at 7 p.m. for Stephen McLean, DBA SA McLean Incorporated. This is for a used car and equipment sales renewal of a conditional use permit located map 17, lot 66 off Secocas Trail North. There will be a site walk at the above location prior to the public hearing, which will be at 5 p.m. The Select Board will meet next on Monday, March 23rd at 7 p.m. The Select Board is looking for a few more members to join a comprehensive committee. If interested, please contact Alicia at 793-4475 or selectboardadmin@limerickme.org. The committee is meeting now on Thursdays at 1 p.m. at the Municipal Building, and the York County Budget Committee is looking for elected members to join their committee. Please let the Select Board know by Wednesday, April 8th, if this is something you are interested in. And as part of the hearing of citizens policy, no personal attacks of any individual or firm, including town employees, town officials, or members of the public, will be tolerated. During any meetings, please direct concerns about individual employees or town officials to the chairman of the Board of Select Persons outside the public meeting for your convenience. Complaint forms are readily available on the sign-up table, and please stay current with town information by visiting www.limerickme.org.
All right, thank you. For department reports, it looks like we're still waiting on John. Do you want me to? Okay. Stephanie Bishop. Oh, John's here. You ready to go, or do you need a couple minutes?
Give me about a minute.
Okay. I don't see Stephanie here. Joanne, transfer station.
There's not much to talk about this month, except that we are now open summer hours. We close at 5 instead of 4. I wish the weather would cooperate, but it's not. And Our income is down quite a bit. It's down about 40%, but I think a lot of people are worried about paying their heat bills and not worried about taking stuff to the transfer station. So that's my report, short and sweet.
Is that 40% for the year so far, or the year? Okay.
Yeah. And I just wanted to drop these off to the board. And you can take it up at another time.
Okay.
I got one question, Joanne.
Yeah.
People keep asking me how many tires can they bring down to the transfer station at any one time?
15.
15 a week?
15 a week.
Now, this
We
is
can
per
put-
person.
No.
Okay, that's what I want to know,
This is
per
for the
person.
week. This is for the week, and we try to spread it out. We try to spread it out. I will not let anybody bring 15 tires in at one time, because we can only put so many in each demo. And we've got 3 demos. We got one that goes to a landfill and the 2 that go to Eco-Maine. And we can put 5 in each one of those containers a week. And so far, we've been able to maintain that and not have to have a tire pile.
But there's no cost.
No, it's $3 for a regular tire,
Okay.
$5 for, I think, anything over 19 inches. And then double it for if they're mounted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
All right, next I have Neil Meltzer and John Cleveland.
Good evening. Each of you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Excuse me for being a couple of minutes late, but the weather is kind of brutal, kind of hard to see out there. My name is John Cleveland. I'm with Community Dynamics Corporation, for those who don't know me. Congratulations to those of you who've recently been selected to serve. I think we come with some good news tonight, so it might be a good beginning for you. Neil Meltzer, who's the treasurer of the Limerick Water and Sewer District, will be assisting me with the presentation. What we want to go over this evening is I want to give you a little background on the history. Some of you may not be as familiar with it, you may be newer, and for the people who may be following it at home, I want to give a little scope of the project. Neil will do that. Neil will talk about why this is important for the Water and Sewer District. I'll talk a little bit about how the bid process went and what came from the bid process, which was very good news. I have a project budget summary that I'll go over with you, and then we'll talk about a notice of the award for the bid. So I'll begin by trying to give kind of a 10,000-foot overview, because this project has been underway for 3-4 years working on it. We began by looking for money, as we always do, and for the project. This is the project that's on the Emery Corner Road and Watson Hill Road. And we applied to the Community Development Block Grant program in Maine, I think in beginning of 2024. They go in 2-year blocks now. So we made an application, and we didn't get accepted in the first year, but Limerick was put on a wait list for the second year. We also applied to what's known as congressionally directed spending. You're probably familiar with that. Comes from the federal government in 2024. As it happened in 2024, there was a change in administration leadership, and so the congressionally directed spending was cut from all of the budget, so we didn't get the grant application. No one got any funding in that particular year. When the second year came around, there were 4 people on the waiting list and only enough money for 2. So I worked with the Community Development Block Grant folks and were able to persuade them that the project that you have here was a high priority and would benefit a great number of people. We became one of the 2 that were granted, in round numbers, $1 million for the project. Once we were granted that money, well, let me step back up for a moment. One of the things that you have to do to get the grant money is to show that the project area benefits at least 51% low and moderate income. I did a house-to-house survey, and we came way over that, like in the 64% range for this particular area. So that made us well qualified for the project. Then when we awarded it, you have to go through what they call a phase 2. Some of you might have gone through this before. It's a documentation phase where you have to fill out lots of documents about the program, answer questions. We did that. You also have to do an environmental report. That was done. All of that came out. And we then entered into contract stage, and the select board previous to you executed the contract for the grant money. At that stage, then we have to go, we had to go out and go for bids for a engineering firm. We were very fortunate. Dirigo Engineering bid on the project, gave us a good price for the project, and they were selected, and they did the design work for the project, and they did the request for bid process. All of this has very strict requirements under the Community Development Block Grant Program, and all of it was completed successfully. In January of this year, the requests for bids were issued, and 7 contractors from this local area responded, and those 7 all gave us very good bids. That's why we like to go out to bid in the winter, because you get your best results, because the contractors are eager for work starting in the spring. And so we got 7 good contractors, and they were approximately, out of those 7, only about $100,000 apart from the lowest to the highest. So that shows that the bids were very good. There were no outliers involved with that. And Dearborn Construction was the low bidder, and we'll be talking about them in a few minutes because they would be the selected contractor. So at this point, where we're at is to proceed to select the contractor and execute a contract with them. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a few minutes. But I'll turn it over to Neil to talk to you about what the project is. You have a map there that you can see where the project is located, and Neil will talk to you why this is so important to the Water and Sewer District, and more importantly, to the community.
Thanks, John. John gave you some of the mirrored details of what's been going on behind the scenes and getting the funding in place, but many people may not know what the project actually is. So I'm going to take a step back, and for those of you who know what it is, I'll apologize in advance, but I want to make sure people understand what it is we're talking about. So over the past 10 years, the Water District and the Sewer District have been really fortunate working with the town to get millions of dollars of funding to work on improving the basic infrastructure of the Water District and the Sewer District. As many of you may know, that infrastructure, a lot of it is 100+ years old and has a variety of issues. During that period of time, water and sewer lines were replaced on Main Street. Water and sewer lines were replaced on Washington Street. Water and sewer lines were replaced most recently in Hollandville. In addition to that, the water district on its own put in place a $1.2 million green sand filtration system at the main pumping station on the Emery Corner Road. So from the Emery Corner Road, we now have good quality water leaving that pumping station, heading up into the rest of the distribution system. All that water, before it hits those new lines on Washington Avenue, new lines in Hollandville, new lines in Main Street, has to pass through a 100-year-old line on the Emery Corner Road. That's a problem. It's a problem because that line is undersized, it's corroded, and it causes, even though we have good quality water leaving the treatment plant, the green sand filtration plant, as it goes through that Emery Corner line, the quality degrades. So that's a significant problem from a water quality perspective. The Deepvale project would replace that water line. It would install 1,400 new feet of water line on the Emery Corner Road, and that'd be a 12-inch main, so there'd be ample capacity. And another problem with the existing water line on Emery Corner Road, it's a 6-inch line. It's undersized. So we have a 6-inch line feeding a 12-inch line. That can cause potential pressure and volume issues for fire control. And that's something we want to pay a lot of attention to. So for those reasons, replacing that line from a water quality perspective is really critically important. It affects every single customer in the Limerick Water District, every single one. In addition to that, there is sewer line on the Emery Corner Road. That sewer line is in 100-year-old clay pipe, clay tile, not full pipe, clay tile. There are joints, there's undoubtedly leaks, there's roots growing into it, and that sewer line runs right alongside Secocas Lake, right on top of the aquifers that feed many wells and that feed water systems throughout the town. So the second part of the project is replacing 400 feet of sewer line on the Emery Corner Road, replacing that old line. Replacing that line impacts every single person who lives in Limerick, everybody, because that speaks to the quality of our water on Secocas Lake. It speaks to the quality of water that we have in our aquifers. One last piece of the Deepvale project is to extend the line up the Watson Hill Road 500 feet. This summer, anyone on the fire department knows, we had a very serious fire on the Watson Hill Road. We were fortunate that we'd be able to get water there, but it's a challenge. Even though the lake is there, it's a challenge. There isn't adequate fire protection going up that road, and there's many, many houses on that road. With this funding, we're able to run a line up Watson Hill 500 feet, and in addition to providing additional fire protection, also take care of some water supplies to customers who are adjacent to Secocas Lake and working on a very old 2-inch galvanized 60-year-old line. Again, that's a quality problem. So that is the scope of the project, and that's why it's incredibly important. I could read you the engineer's report about why it's important, but I think I've tried to sum it up as clearly as I can. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that any of the board members might have about that.
Looking at the plan, Neil, it looks like it's going down Central Avenue. You're not touching that, right?
So we're not, Howard. That's a good point, so thank you for that. The original plan was a $1.6 million plan, and that included going down Central Avenue, going towards Dunkin' Donuts from the Emery Corner Road, Central Avenue junction, because there's some old lines there. We had the congressional spending funding for that in 2024. That funding was not carried through in 2025, so we had to scale the project back. And we scaled it back to the most critical pieces, which is the Emery Corner Road water and the Emery Corner Road sewer in Watson Hill. So at this point, Howard, we are not going down Central Avenue. That'll have to be another project.
Well, both Central Avenue and Prospect Street, there's existing lines there now.
That's correct. As part of the Hollandville project, we took care of Prospect Street and the Central Avenue there, but going down towards Dunkin' Donuts, there's not. And there, again,
But where does that line stop?
I think it stops just before Dora Lane. I'm going to look to the chairman to see if that's correct. Tony, does the existing water line that goes down Central Avenue stop at
sewer-
about
sewer
Dora
line.
Lane? Oh, the sewer line?
Yeah.
The sewer line stops at, up in front of, hardware store.
Our goal was to do all of it. We didn't have the funding for all of it, so we pared it back to the most critical pieces.
Now, fire hydrants included on these lines?
They are.
Yeah, I was just curious when you, if we're gonna have, if there'll be enough pressure going up Watson Hill Road.
I believe there will, Howard, again, we're increasing the size of the main,
Yeah,
and because of the monitoring that we now have in the treatment, green sand filtration system on the Emery Corner Road, we can monitor the levels in the tanks so much better than we ever could before. So we're able to maintain better pressure. So for example, while the firefighters were fighting that fire on Watson Hill, years past, no one in town would have had any pressure, right? You know that. That didn't happen, because we're able to monitor that, we're able to maintain that, we're able to maintain better, more consistent elevations in the wells.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't put that initial line from the pumping station up on the corner road. Why they didn't make that bigger years ago, but who knows?
How's that go, Howard? Hard telling, not knowing?
Yeah,
Don't know.
that's all the questions I had.
Anybody else?
The question's just from the board or people as well?
I'll leave that to the chair.
The people as well.
I can speak loud enough unless they'd like me to go up there, but I got two questions.
I was gonna say, there's a microphone right here too.
Two questions. If you have a drilled well on Watson's Hill and they decide to put up a fire hydrant, does that mean everybody that doesn't need the town's water has to pay a ability to serve charge to the district?
No,
So that's just a line for fire hydrant and if you want to tap into it?
that's correct.
My second question is, I believe John was on the board. The last time that we had a project with the water and sewer district, they were short on money somewhere around there. And John said it was a small price to pay of taxpayers' dollar that aren't on this system to carry the match of the grant. I guess I don't know the particulars and the numbers, but will that project continue with this project?
John is going to speak to the funding and where it comes from, Heath, but what I would say to you is that this project impacts everyone in town. Replacing that sewer line impacts everyone in town. Providing fire protection and a better pressure line impacts everybody in town.
Well, everybody in town that's near the system. I don't have a fire hydrant down by my house.
I understand that.
Okay.
I
So it's
understand.
not everyone in town. So all the taxpayers have to pay what they can because they said the system doesn't make enough money to even expand itself.
Well,
So my question is this project going to be carried by the rest of the taxpayers that aren't on the system?
I'm going to let John speak to the funding, and I think maybe you'll have a better, I think he can explain that better.
Can I speak up just a minute?
Alicia, can you give him the microphone?
The town receives a rating. They come around and they test the fire hydrants, and we receive a rating. And everyone's town's insurance is based on the rating that the fire department gets and the hydrants get. And if you're half a mile from any one of those hydrants, whether they're hydrants that the town's bought in Arrowhead, or whether they're hydrants that are the Limerick Water District hydrants, you have an impact. And Heath, you have a hydrant within 100 feet, half a mile of your house, that's a Lake Arrowhead hydrant that the town paid for. Thank you.
I think it'd be helpful if John can speak to the funding and talk about the $1 million from the Community Development Block Grant and the other funding that is making this project possible. Sure. John? Thanks.
Before I do that, just a sentence or two. So we have the bids there, that the low bidder is Dearborn Construction. I provided you with a list of who bid and what the prices are there from Deargo Engineering. So we got very competitive bids, and Dearborn is ready to go. As soon as we give them the heads up, they're gonna start organizing and getting the project ready to go. The bids, I'll tell you this number again, but the low bid was $908,696. That's the low bid. And that was well within the projected estimate cost by the engineer. So very, very good and competitive bid. Within that report, you'll also note that Deargo Engineering outlines their recommendation that the bid is good, that they've met all of the requirements for CDBG, and Dearborn actually did the project on Main Street, and Deargo has worked with them on other projects and finds them to be a highly competent firm to work with. Also, your Community Development Advisory Committee also met and is recommending the project as well. Let me go to the, you have a sheet there, my summary for the funding. So the revenue sources are from the Community Development Block Grant Program. That's a state-operated program. So we work with the state community development, and the manager for this area has done several projects under this with the town. So we have $999,900 in grant money, and the town has in a reserve account for the deep failed project $344,000. In that $344,000 is included $125,000, which you received some years ago, 2-3 years ago, from the ARPA funds, and those monies have to be spent now, and this is an eligible project for them. So the total funds available are $1,343,900. Incidentally, working with the Community Development Block Grant in the state of Maine, we won't have the challenge we had when we had the EPA, congressionally directed spending. They weren't able to move fast enough to make us reimbursable right away because they were so backed up, so that's what caused a delay in the funding for them, although the town received all the grant and all its money for the project that they said they would give, which was $1 million. We won't have that issue working with the Community Development Block Grant Program. So the expenses are as follows. The construction bid, $908,696. The Deargo Engineering firm's bid or contract is for $65,100. New water meters, which are important to have with this project, but weren't part of the bid because the water district does those, is $28,970. And a project inspection is $25,000. This project inspection will be through an agreement with the, well, an agreement between the town and the water district for one of their members to be the inspector, who did that on the Hollandville project. Did a fantastic job, and at least half of the price if you had to hire Dirigo Engineering to do it. And Dirigo is happy to work with the water district. It worked well for all parties then. So there's an agreement that we'll talk to you about at the end. And then that leaves $316,134 from the funds already available for project contingency. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to spend all of that money, but in any project, you're going to have situations where you sometimes find things that you're not aware of. For example, there could be ledge here. Ledge is bid on a cubic yard basis at a unit price. So depending on how much they find, and would be billed at that unit price. So there are certain things like that that happen. And if that does happen, it will always come back here because the Board of Selectmen will need to approve any change orders in the future as well within the budget. So that's the total amount. Why don't I wait for a minute and get some questions about budget, project budget?
So I see that the CDBG grant is 999,900, and it requires a 25% local match.
Yeah.
So local match of roughly 250,000. Would that money be in addition to, or like, could we use the existing town funds for that? So,
Oh, yeah, no, use the town, so that'll come from the 344,000.
okay.
They'll come out of that. The grant is that the CDBG pays 75%, town pays 25%, and that's why we look to raise that money in advance, knowing that we'll have to be a match, so you have that in the bank already.
If this, yeah.
Well, you just want to know. Will we get, before we start the project, are we going to be sure we got the grant money?
Yes, actually, the agreement has already been signed on that, and they have the money. It's controlled by the state. The money is there already.
Or will the money be here before we start, instead of what happened last time?
Yeah. So the last one was through the EPA, which was the federal government. They were a little more difficult, and they didn't have their game together very well. They were overloaded. So the way this works, the money is there on a monthly basis when invoices are submitted, primarily from the contractor. Those invoices will be reviewed by the engineer and by the town, and if everything is in order, then there will be a request for the town to do the drawdown that month. And usually within a week or so, the money shows up in the city's bank account. And then that's the bill isn't paid until that money shows up and is there to pay the bill.
Well, again, we already gotten one mess. We're still paying for other loans we had on other projects. Now we don't know for sure what's in these capital projects. So I don't know. Just my feeling.
I have extremely high.
I don't like spending money we
Yeah,
don't have.
we've
I
done.
don't do it at home.
We've done multiple projects here in Limerick with this same program, and we've never had a problem with the state. They've always provided all the legitimate bills. They provided their 75%. You submit it at the end of the month, and then usually
You can prove that they submitted it at all times.
the town submits the bill.
Well, and you can.
Oh, yeah, we're
On
gonna,
paper, right there.
yeah, that'll be
You
tracked.
show that to the board.
Yes,
Yes.
We've already done a drawdown, and it's already been successful on one thing.
yeah.
So, as long as you can show the money is there.
The money will come in, and it will be booked in the
Not come
account.
in, you can show the money has been paid.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yeah, so the select board will have to approve the payment. And there'll have to be receipt showing that they paid it.
Today, do you guys know how much money we have in our own account? I know the audit hasn't been completed yet, so do you guys know that this money, match money, that's all there? It's all good to go, we got money?
According to the audit, yes. Yep.
So,
According to our town records, no, but I was told by the auditor that the audit is correct, and if the town records show differently, it's on the treasurer to
Well,
correct
it's
it.
correct for 24. We haven't even looked at 25, so we still don't know how much money we even have, right?
I mean, at the end of 2024, we had adequate funding and no money should have been spent or moved out of that account in 2025.
make sure the money's there.
I'm told by.
Oh, no, you're told, you see, you already said it.
Guy's a salesman.
I don't have any authority
Right, well-
to,
But you're coming in front of the board saying, our money's here, and our grant's here,
yep.
and this X amount of money's here.
Yep.
But
I asked if the money was there from the town. I was assured by the people who do your finances that the money's there.
Okay.
That's as far as we can go. It's recorded that you have it in your accounts for Limerick.
John, I'm kind of curious, what's the timeline on the project? Start and ending date?
Yeah, that's a good question, Howard. We're going to, well, next week, we look to meet with them. It should be done during the summertime. This goes pretty quickly. And I don't want to say the exact date, but in Hollandville, they started around May, and they were done by first week in September for Hollandville. And that was a little bigger project.
Sure.
Okay. So, if there aren't any further questions about the budget, one of the requirements in the process here is that we need to provide a notice of bid award, which would be to Dearborn. I have the copy of the form here, and that form needs to be executed by the board so that we can submit it and then have a meeting next week to sign the contract to do that. So I'll have that here, and I'll get a copy. It needs one signature, usually the chair of the board. You might want to think for your records and copies in your minutes that someone from the board would make a motion to authorize your chairperson to execute that, showing that the board approved it.
Make a motion.
We still have, don't the board have to approve or appoint Dearborn as the, is that what the letter is?
That's what the letter will do.
Okay.
That's what the letter is doing. But, you can follow your own procedure, but it's good to get it recorded in the minutes.
Yep.
only when the funding's there.
I make a motion that Brady signs the authorization to go ahead.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, and I'll abstain because I'm signing.
Neil, you want to talk about the agreement?
When John gave a summary of the project, he talked about how, similar to what it did for the Hollandville project, where it saved the town approximately $30,000, that the water district operator would do the inspections. It's a very extensive inspection process. I didn't get a chance to get this to you beforehand, my apologies. This is the same process that we went through, sorry for the small print, for the Hollandville project.
Thank you.
That's the list of duties. It's extensive. And in addition to the notice of award, the next piece for the select board would be to approve the inspection agreement between the town and the water district for the inspection process for the detail project.
Who did the last one?
Aaron Carroll, the water operator.
Okay.
Dirigo's estimate was about $60,000. I believe that the final cost was less than $30,000. Dirigo has estimated $50,000 if they do the inspection, and the estimated cost from the district is $25,000. The cost of that was included in the budget numbers that John presented to you.
I don't know about the rest of the board, but I would like to see, I know it might be hard, but it just says that the amount is $46 per hour. I'd like to see a 46 per hour with a maximum amount as well.
Would you like a not to exceed amount?
A not to exceed, yeah, and just because the numbers that we were given said 25,000 estimated for inspections, and I'm not saying they would do this, but somebody could just be down there 40 hours a week and.
So if the agreement included not to exceed $25,000, would that be sufficient?
I'd be willing, I'd be happy with that. If the other, if Dirigo had a bid of like 60,000, I would be happy with a not to exceed 25.
Dirigo's estimate was, they were charging $100 an hour, 500 hours
I'm in the wrong line of work.
for $50,000. It was a flat, that's gonna cost $50,000.
Yeah,
So I think that makes sense, Brady, to have a not to exceed, and I think there's no problem in doing that. We can certainly amend this to include that. If that would, I think that's a good idea.
that's all I had on that.
So with that said, the board be willing to entertain a motion that says that they would approve this with that addition? So therefore, I can make the change, and the chair or whoever else is designated is authorized to sign it?
Is this the first time the board is getting to see this contract?
Yeah.
Maybe like 24 hours to review it or something before approval? Or-
We'd have to wait till next week.
Right.
Yeah, I would like to see that wording in print before voting on it.
We don't want to make a motion to approve it all.
Correct.
tonight when you're first getting to see it.
I think that's a good point, and I think the fact that this is the exact same agreement that was for the previous project, hopefully should make people feel a little comfortable about that, but I think that makes sense.
And I know I was on the board at the last time of the last project, but I don't recall seeing this agreement. Not saying it wasn't, but I just didn't see it at the time, so I would like to review it. It is only 2 pages, but I'd just like to review it.
I can very easily make those changes and get
I
them to
agree.
you probably tomorrow. Any other questions?
I don't have any questions. Are there any questions from the public? Yeah. I don't see any other questions, no.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have one more thing that we have to make, you need to make a decision on. So we want to meet next week with the selected contractor and with the engineer and with me. And certainly, we actually need the person who's going to sign the contract to be there too. So next week, the week of the 23rd, I checked with Dearborn, and they're I'm available any day next week except Tuesday. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. If any one of those days is preferable to you, I just need to put that in there because that's what's going to tell the contractor that they have to get the paperwork that they need in order to be at that meeting to execute the contract. And it has to be executed by the chair usually. So if there's a time in one of those days works, that's what I need to put into this agreement, this notice.
I know, unfortunately, the only day I have off next week is Tuesday.
Oh.
So I don't know, and I might not be chair after next Monday,
Okay.
because we'll have a new board. So, I'm unsure as
Maybe-
to what.
Maybe what we could do is just, you could say that the board approves the execution of the contract, and that you have, whichever one of you could be available, would be authorized to do the signing on the behalf of the board. And you can have that in your minutes, that you've authorized that to happen.
And we're gonna have copies of this contract ahead of time.
Oh, yes, yeah. The contract's already printed out, and they had the contract when they bid on it, and so it's been available for a while.
Just gives us time to read it again,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. You should have a copy here. If you don't, I'll,
You do have it in your email.
Do we?
yeah,
Okay.
we have one here in case anybody wanted to see it, so you have a copy of it here. What time Tuesday might work for you, Brady?
I'm off all day.
Okay, would early afternoon work for you?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I will rearrange my schedule so I can accommodate you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I can meet on Tuesday, but like I said, I don't know how we want to deal with next week we'll have a different board.
Next Monday.
Next Monday, we'll have another member on the board, and we'll have to re-vote for chair, vice chair. So I don't know how we want to do this going forward. We can't have the vote tonight because we don't have the full new board here on the chair
But
selection.
if we get copies of look at the contract over, and we'll decide at that point who's gonna sign it for Tuesday. Because we should have that all squared away by Tuesday, the election.
From my we would need to sign the contract before the meeting on Tuesday, correct? Or would we?
No, you would sign it at the meeting.
Okay. I'm fine with that. Okay.
Someone will be signing it.
We can decide it Monday night. I mean, Monday night we'll have our meeting and,
Yeah.
I'm rethinking about my schedule here. Would, 12.
you give me a time on Tuesday, I'll be there. You have my
Yeah, well,
email.
I'm going to do that. I'm doing that right now.
Okay.
My conflict is with my wife, so I'm trying to avoid unexpected problems for changing this at her on. So I would say that if we did it at noon time, no, let's say 11 o'clock. Let's say 11 o'clock. That'll give us time to get here and time in the afternoon. So
Okay.
11 a.m.
11 a.m. in this room?
in this room
Okay.
on March 24th.
So you get your wife's stuff done in the morning then.
Yes, I'm going to make sure that she's happy.
24th. Tuesday. Alrighty.
I have this here, so who would sign it this evening? Because I have to get this out to them so they can get ready to be here.
This evening, there was a motion to have me sign it,
Right,
just with the knowledge that it will most likely be changing next week, the authorized person.
Yeah, that's all right. It doesn't
Okay.
say who's going to sign it here. I mean,
Okay.
it doesn't say who's going to sign the contract in this document. I have two here, so we can make two originals of it. You can keep one, and I'll provide the other one to the engineer and the contractor.
And this is just the notice of award.
This is noticing that this board agrees to accept the bid of Dearborn Construction for this project. And that you will award them a contract, which we will meet on March 24th to execute that contract.
I know Jerry's new, but Howard said he hasn't seen it in his email. Have the other 2 board members read the contract that you're agreeing to sign on to?
This is just the notice of award.
But are you aware of the entire contract that you just awarded?
I have reviewed it, yes.
But the contract has not been executed.
So there is still time to,
You can, if you see something in that contract that you have questions about, or you think should be amended, you can bring those up at the meeting.
all right, there's that, there's 2. And then you want me to keep one and I'll give it to Alicia
Yeah, that would be good.
for our records?
I can bring it over.
Okay.
If there are no other questions, thank you very much. It's just going to be an exciting project for the community, and it'll be a very needed and good project at the end. So I'm excited about working with you. Thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you. All right, next on department reports, I have Dee Dee.
Good evening. How you guys doing tonight?
Fine.
You guys want to get out of here sometime tonight, right? Would be nice. So as you guys know, we had our annual town meeting on Friday. We were here, I should say, I was here 6:30 to 11. But we did have issues with our ballot boxes. I'm not gonna tiptoe around this. One cut out after 32 voters, stopped working right then and there. The other, it worked most of the time. We ended up having to hand count 3 separate ballots. So that being said, 2 of the select board, if you guys look, there's an empty chair because we haven't sworn the 5th member in yet. A recount has been requested. Totally agree. My peace of mind, I would love to know that this count is correct. So the 3-year for Select Board, Assessor, and Board of Overseers, Gerald Gilpatrick, he was a clear winner. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, with 232 votes. Lori Harmon, she had 179. Walter Ricker had 177, so 2 votes different. I knew it was gonna be close between you 2. I just didn't realize it was gonna be that close. So this is why we are gonna have a recount. Walter Ricker did request it this morning. I do have his email for his formal request. Rick, if you don't mind signing that after this meeting, and I'm gonna sign it right there with you, and we're gonna date it. I talked to Lori today, I talked to Rick today. Thursday at 10 a.m. worked for them for a recount. Is that anything that you guys are okay with? If we can have it here in this room. I did tell Rick that he could find people to be ballot counters, because he has that right. So if you guys are okay with that as well, we'll go for it, so you guys can have a full board on Monday.
Yeah, yeah.
I got a question.
Lori has someone represent her as a ballot counter?
No,
Why?
because Walter is the one that asked
So
for
if it
them.
comes out the other way, she can request a recount then?
Yes, if she asks for a recount, absolutely, she can
No
have
problem. Thank you.
ballot counters, sure.
Good.
I thought both sides had to have
Yeah, that,
equal.
No, reading the statute, it's the person that is asking for the recount. I can double check. I could be
Other
wrong.
elections, I've always known to have equal amounts. Usually it's like the state elections, got to be so many Republicans, so many Democrats.
Correct. This
But
is the
not one,
recount.
but not one-sided.
Yes. So I did ask him for 3. 3 ballot counters, so he is aware of that. If he can't find them, then I said I would find them, because we have to have them.
Will you have ballot counters there too, or?
No, these are the ballot counters that he will have.
Okay.
They have to be
Yeah.
voters here.
Yeah,
in
no, that
Limerick.
just, yeah, it just seems, yeah, I don't know. If it's the law, it's the law. It just seems a little confusing.
It's statute.
'Cause-
I do have it
No,
here in a
I
copy,
believe
if
you.
you guys would like
Yeah,
to read it.
no, I believe you. It's
This
just,
is new to me. I've never done a recount before, so I
Yeah.
had to look all this stuff up this morning. I'm not gonna lie. Heath?
I believe you did a recount if the candidates were there the night of it, because you guys all sat down, the ballot clerks went through it, each one again, because I had asked for on another article, and you did, but it was, they were there to express their feelings that night of the election, and you guys all redid it by hand. That's what took so long that night. I think it was like 10:30 that night too. But as far as after the fact, I don't think I've ever seen one.
I guess I don't remember that. Sorry. It might have been a different situation.
Yeah, it was an article, it wasn't a person. It was an article that came in close and somebody had asked for a recount. And all the ballot clerks sat down and they each counted it all over again that night, a hand count.
Okay,
I know, because I requested it.
all right. Job well done.
But never 2 days after the fact. I was there, able to be there to contest it the night of the vote.
Okay. So yes, if you guys are okay with that, and you two are okay with that, it'll be 10 a.m. Tuesday here.
Thursday.
Sorry, Thursday, this Thursday, whatever the date is,
The 19th.
19th, thank you. Yes, March 19th, Thursday, March 19th at 10 a.m. at the Municipal Building. There will be a recount. Public, it is open to the public, so anybody can come and watch. Bill?
Regarding this particular race, were there any ballots that were thrown out for any specific reason?
Thrown out? No. Spoiled? Yes. Spoiled by voters.
I don't know what that is.
So if a voter has messed up or overvoted, they put it in, they didn't mean to, there was, example, a gentleman kind of marked yes, then he circled in no, and it wouldn't go in, and he's trying and is telling him it's overvote. It asked the voter, would you like to cast it, or would you like it returned so you could fix it? He wanted it to be fixed, so he hit the return button. We spoiled his ballot, we gave him a new one, and he deposited. So we had many spoiled ballots.
Are those available to be seen when there's a recount?
Yes. Can't see why not. I mean, you don't know whose it is. Yes.
But those wouldn't be able to be counted,
No.
right? Yeah, okay,
That's all
No.
about.
okay.
They all have red lines in them.
Yeah, yeah.
They're all put,
Okay.
and the voter puts them in the envelope. We do not touch them when we seal them, so. Okay. That being said, I received a text message on my private phone. This is no. If you have an issue with what I'm doing, how I'm handling something, this is why we have town email. This is why we have town phone numbers. I know certain people are having problems with Howard because he didn't have a town email. Well, this is no different. Do not text my private phone number, please. I am going to read it because I am standing behind my ballot clerks that were here. This was Friday morning. Reports are coming in that ballot clerks are instructing voters to vote for 2 selectmen. The ballots have instructions for a reason. Voters are free to vote for 1, 2, or none. More than 2 will invalidate their ballot. Specific instructions are not to be verbally given. This election has been protested if This election may be protested if this continues. Thank you for your cooperation. I did respond, because this is not what we were telling people. We are telling them that they can vote up to 2 on selectmen 3-year and on library. If anybody really read the ballot, and not too many people read the ballot, and this is the issue, it does say vote for 2. So the ballot's telling you to vote for 2. We're not telling you to vote for 2. You don't have to vote for any. You can vote up to 2. Okay? My ballot clerks, that is what they're telling people. She also said that there was stuff on the back on some of these, so look in the back, because a lot of people won't see the questions on the back. We heard people in the hallway say, you only have to vote for 1 voter, and I'm not going to name names. But voters are telling other voters to vote for just 1. A voter is never to tell another voter how to vote. We're not allowed to, you're not allowed to. I want to make that perfectly clear. At 4:30 this afternoon, I received another text from the same number.
Member, now can I clarify, is it a member that sits on this board?
Number.
Oh,
The same
okay.
number from Friday. The election will be protested due to instructions given out by ballot clerks. This is not why we are doing the recount. A public recount is needed. No 3-year selectman candidates should be put in place until the recount and protests are complete. We didn't put 1 person in there, so we're good. I did respond back. A recount has already been asked. It will be sometime this week. We will be discussing it tonight at the select board meeting. Thanks. With a smiley face. So, guys, again, you have an issue with me, come see me, okay? I mean, obviously, somebody was in here, they overheard something. Come and talk to me. This is what we're here for. The moderator's here, I'm here. We can answer any question there is, all right? Heath?
Now this question is for the board. It's her private phone, but she still works for the town. Is that freedom of information, access to who that number is?
The only other person or group that has my phone number is state elections for emergency purposes. If they can't get me on the municipal phone.
So my question carries, is that a freedom of information through the town where she still works for the town as a ballot clerk, but technically it is her personal number?
I would have
I'm not a
to.
ballot clerk. I'm not a ballot clerk.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Town clerk, I said it wrong.
I just want to clarify it.
Nope, that's fine. It's been a while since I've been up to ask a few questions, but legitimately, I guess I'm still looking for an answer.
I would have to ask MMA about that. I am unsure of the answer of that.
If something were to ever happen, yes, they could confiscate my phone. How's that? And they can, because I don't have anything incriminating on it. Go for it. I got cute little pictures of my cat. All right. I will read all the election results. I'm sorry, this is taking so long. I can read the write-ins, the overvotes, the undervotes, if you guys want me to. That way there. Anybody calculating this stuff at home can certainly calculate it, but Gerald Libby, this is 3-year Select Board Assessor and Board of Overseers, 232. Laurier Harmon, 179. Walter Ricker, 177. There is 2 separate write-ins because there was 2 separate positions. So the first one, they had 8 write-ins, and then the other one, 0 write-ins. 2 overvotes, and 104 undervotes. There was a total of 702 votes cast. When you divide it into 2, it comes out to 351. Okay. Select Board Assessor, Board of Overseers, 2-year term. Vote for 1. Wade Andrews, 189. He clearly was the winner. Clifton Finch was 132, write-ins 7, overvotes 4, undervotes 19, total of 351. Budget Committee, 3-year, vote for 1. There was no nominees, but there was a nice woman who was written in the most with 4 write-ins, Wendy Thorne, and she graciously accepted, and I swore her in today. Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah, so no one knows I wrote my name 4 times.
Planning Board, 3-year, vote for 1. Aaron Carroll, he was the only one who ran for that position, 248. Write-ins, 14. Overvotes, 1. Undervotes, 88. Total of 351. Planning Board, 3-year term, vote for 1. This was the second position. Peter, I'm going to get his last name wrong. I'm sorry. Mahar, that's how I'm going to say it. He was the only one running with 231 votes. Write-ins, 6. Overvotes, 0. Undervotes, 114. Total of 351. Planning Board, 3-year, vote for 1. It was a write-in. Nobody ran for that one, but Jason Wright, he had 12 write-ins. He had the most write-ins there. I did email him today. I'm waiting for a word, whether he accepts it or not. But, RSU 57 director, 3-year term, vote for 1. Anastasia Ferguson, only one who ran, 270 votes. Write-ins 1, overvotes 0, undervotes 80. Total 351. Library trustee, 3-year term, vote for 2. Another one, you can vote for up to 2. All right, Dennis Crowley, 138. Jennifer Morin, 193. She was one of the winners. Jessica Wynn, 200. She was the other winner. Write-ins, 0. Second write-ins, 0. Overvotes, 0. Undervotes, 171. Total, 702 votes. Divide that into 2, 351. Sewage District Trustee, 3-year, vote for 1. Only person who ran was Anthony Carroll, 250 votes. Write-ins, 10. Overvotes, 0. Undervotes, 90. And this was a total of 350. Now let me explain this. Sometimes when people do absentee ballots, they don't return all of their ballots. So this ballot was all by itself. Here we are, wondering why it's only 350, and that is the only reason that we can think. Somebody didn't get that ballot. There was also one article ballot that was one less, and that was the only thing we can think. When you take the wad of ballots out of the envelopes, we're not allowed to open them. So we open them, we put them in the box, then we bring them over to the machine, then we open them so you don't know how that voter voted. It's all done secretly, secret ballot. So we don't actually count and look to see if all the ballots are there. So that is the issue. All right. Where I left off. Article 3 was, I'm not going to read the whole articles. You guys don't want to be here all night long. We're already here late. So, Article 3, yes, 288. No, 59. Overvotes, 0. Undervotes, 4. Total of ballots, 351. Article 4, 238 yes, 103 no, 0 overvotes, 10 undervotes, 351 total. Article 5, 245 yes, 94 no, 0 overvotes, 12 undervotes, 351 total. If I'm going too fast, they can rewatch. Article 6, 218 yes, 116 no, 1 overvote, 16 undervotes, 351 total. Article 7, 280 yes, 62 no, 1 overvote, 8 undervotes, 351 total. Article 8, 228 yes, 109 no, 0 overvotes, 14 undervotes, 351 total. Article 9, 223 yes, 115 no, 1 overvote, 12 undervotes, 351 total. Article 10, 293 yes, 50 no, 0 overvotes, 8 undervotes, 351 total. Article 11, 232 yes, 97 no, 0 overvotes, 22 undervotes, 351 total. Article 12, 272 yes, 60 no, 0 overvotes, 19 undervotes, 351 total. Article 13, 121 yes, 216 no, 0 overvotes, 14 undervotes, 351 total. That article failed. That'll be the next thing. Hold on. Article 14, 226 yes, 109 no, 0 overvotes, 16 undervotes, 351 total. Article 15, 236 yes, 99 no, 0 overvotes, 16 undervotes, 351 total. Article 16, 225 yes, 110 no, 0 overvotes, 16 undervotes, 351 total. Article 16, 222 yes, 109 no, 0 overvotes, 20 undervotes, 351 total. Article 18, 241 yes, 92 no, 0 overvotes, 18 undervotes, 351 total. Article 19, 221 yes, 112 no, 0 overvotes, 18 undervotes, 351 total. Article 20, 255 yes, 80 no, 0 overvotes, 16 undervotes, 351 total. Article 21, 123 yes, 213 no, 0 overvotes, 15 undervotes, 351 total. Article 22, 237 yes, 98 no, 0 overvotes, 16 undervotes, 351 total. Article 23, 218 yes, 117 no, 0 overvotes, 16 undervotes, 351 total. Article 24, 240 yes, 97 no, 0 overvotes, 14 undervotes, 351 total. Article 25, 238 yes, 94 no, 0 overvotes, 19 undervotes, 351 total. Article 26, we had a lot of articles. Article 26, 126 yes, 211 no, 0 overvotes, 18 undervotes, 351 total. Article 27, 234 yes, 93 no, 0 overvotes, 24 undervotes, 351 total. Article 28, 240 yes, 85 no, 0 overvotes, 26 undervotes, 351 total. Article 29, 147 yes, 175 no, 1 overvote, 28 undervotes, 351 total. Article 30, 192 yes, 128 no, 0 overvotes, 31 undervotes, 351 total. Article 31, 241 yes, 80 no, 0 overvotes, 30 undervotes, 351 total. Article 32, 265 yes, 54 no, 0 overvotes, 32 undervotes, 351 total. Article 33, we're getting there, 264 yes, 61 no, 0 overvotes, 26 undervotes, 351 total. Article 34, 248 yes, 77 no, 0 overvotes, 26 undervotes, 351 total. Article 35, 177 yes, 146 no, 0 overvotes, 28 undervotes, 351 total. We are way too much for Craig over here. Good night, Craig.
I go in the back.
Okay. Article 36, 237 yes, 85 no, 0 overvotes, 29 undervotes, 351 total. Article 37, 212 yes, 109 no, 0 overvotes, 30 undervotes, 351 total. Article 38, 191 yes, 132 no, 0 overvotes, 28 undervotes, 351 total. Article 39, 249 yes, 72 no, 0 overvotes, 30 undervotes, 351 total. Article 40, 245 yes, 77 no, 1 overvote, 28 undervotes, total 351. This next ballot is the one that was missing. We were missing one out of the batch. So Article 41, new ballot, 225 yes, 109 no, 0 overvotes, 16 undervotes, 350 total. Article 42, 284 yes, 52 no, 0 overvotes, 14 undervotes, total of 350. Article 43, 243 yes, 88 no, 1 overvote, 18 undervotes, 350. Article 44, 209 yes, 124 no, 0 overvotes, 17 undervotes, total 350. Article 45, 211 yes, 122 no, 0 overvotes, 17 undervotes, 350 total. Article 46, 214 yes, 116 no, 0 overvotes, 20 undervotes, 350 total. Article 47, 218 yes, 110 no, 0 overvotes, 22 undervotes, 350 total. Article 48, 244 yes, 84 no, 0 overvotes, 22 undervotes, 350 total. Article 49, 247 yes, 82 no, 0 overvotes, 21 undervotes, 350 on that. Article 50, 222 yes, 109 no, 0 overvotes, 19 undervotes, 350 total. Article 51, 171 yes, 152 no, 0 overvotes, 27 undervotes, 350 total. You want me to repeat all that?
Yeah.
So Article 13, 21, 26, and 29 all failed. This is the next. We need a special town meeting by the end of March 31st. Okay, so remember, this is a budget, so the budget committee has to be involved with you guys. That being said, let's plan.
Would it be too long to read the four that actually failed?
Oh, sure. Let's see. So Article 13. This is the first one that failed. He asked if I could read the articles that failed. Article 13, shall the town vote to transfer $15,000 from the unassigned account to the contingency account and authorize the municipal officers to utilize as they deem advisable to meet unanticipated expenses and emergencies that occur during the year? Select Board recommend yes, Budget Committee recommend no. It was yes 21, 121 yes, 216 no. 21, still on that same ballot.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Article 21, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate $163,126 for professional and legal for the ensuing year? Select Board recommend yes, Budget Committee recommend no. Total operations for professional and legal account $163,126. It was 123 yes, 213 no. And Article 26. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate $45,625 for administrative costs for the ensuing year? I thought this all included Alicia's budget, and it don't, so. But it was a very, very long list of what it all entailed, so.
There's no postage right now.
There's no postage. We can't have the election in June. Sorry, no postage for absentee ballots. So, yes, did I read that? Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate $45,625 for administrative costs for the ensuing year? Select Board recommend yes, Budget Committee recommend no. Total operations for administrative costs is $4,625. Then Article 29. Hold. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate $107,807 for the Treasurer's Department for the ensuing year? Select Board recommend yes. Budget Committee recommend yes. Total operations for the Treasurer's Department is $107,807. It was 147 yes and 175 no. Absolutely. Anytime.
What happens when something is voted down? What are the rules for that?
During the special town meeting?
No, what you just read.
Oh, gotcha. So this is budget. We do have to go to a special town meeting because we do need to operate for the year. So March 31st is the deadline. We have to have it by March 31st. It's an open town meeting, so it's not secret ballot. So we can duke it out like we used to on the townhouse floor a while ago.
And
Vote.
voted down if a certain or 1, 2, 3 articles is voted down again.
Well, you can amend certain stuff. That's the beauty of an open town meeting.
Okay. Okay, so that settles the problem. You just get, they pass
Hopefully.
eventually.
Hopefully that will
Yeah.
solve the problem.
Okay. What happens between
But of
now
course,
and
it's gonna be a new warrant as well. So they have to write up a new warrant. It does not have to be the exact same questions. So take it, the treasurer's department. I'm gonna pick on the treasurer. She threw everything in the same budget. So us, we had our deputies in a different article, thank you. And so that made our budget look less. And really, if you look at what she's asking for her pay, she's not far from us, so. But everything on top of it, it just kind of blew it all out of the water. So the next warrant that's done, might want to break it up here and there.
Definitely.
what happens between March now and March 31st with that department?
They're okay until March 31st.
They'll get paid.
Just like we were last year when ours failed,
Okay,
we can still operate till March 31st. That's why it's crucial, we have to have it till March 31st.
gotcha, thank you.
Last year, we did the special town meeting on March 31st. That was cutting it a little close.
Dun, dun, dun.
They just don't show up on April 1st.
So it has to be posted for 7 days.
And the budget committee has to meet,
Correct.
and we have to do a warrant.
Yes.
So, the 30, well, it doesn't have to be a Monday. Does the board have any recommendations?
Can we pull an emergency meeting sometime this week?
So the special town meeting has to be so we have to have a warrant written up, and then budget committee met, and have it posted for 30 days, for 7 days. So, the 30th?
Yeah, but then this,
Because we won't have the warrant written tonight, so,
We have to have it somewhere else, too.
yeah. What date works best for?
Doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter, wait, yeah, either.
I'm not
Can
gonna
I-
be here that week.
Make a suggestion?
Yeah.
If you guys do everything this week, vote on everything on the 23rd, so I can hang it on the 24th, and you can have it the 31st. That gives you a little bit extra time. Just give yourself that on the 23rd to sign off on it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
That's fine.
So is there a motion to have the special town meeting on the 31st for the articles that failed?
Make a motion to have the special town meeting on March 31st. What time?
Whatever time works for you guys.
6?
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
6 p.m.?
And
Where?
we're gonna have to have it other than this room right here.
Yeah,
We're not doing that again.
Tuesdays typically are not SRCTV's night to cover, so I don't know if you're gonna have an option. You may have to have it here.
Out of all the buildings we own, the only one that will fit people is the fire station, so I guess you need to find out if that's a good schedule for them.
I think the issue is the recording of it. With SRC TV,
Pay them enough.
yeah, but in the past they've said Tuesdays is not a good day for them.
It doesn't matter, we pay them enough.
Well, I guess we'll need to
That doesn't add into
reschedule
it.
it Tuesday, because we need a building that will hold the amount of people that want to come in.
Pay them 32,000, 34,000? What was
Heath, you
that?
got a garage, right?
Sure do.
All right. I'll bring the chairs.
It's probably kept up a little better than the town facilities, if you'd like to know.
They do it Monday night, I wonder?
I paint it.
He did the
I
videotape
mean,
for us.
it's all up to the TV.
Luckily, it was.
But we won't have the 7 days to post it unless we get it. We have another select board meeting this week and the warrant and the budget committee this week. We wouldn't be able to do it on the 30th because it has to be posted for 7 days.
Christ, there's only a couple people on the budget committee now.
Oh, no, I know. I'm just. I think we'll have to. I mean,
We'll have to meet this week.
Let's have it for Friday. Wednesday or Friday?
Yeah, but Friday we'll have the recount completed on Thursday.
That's Thursday.
Yeah, but we don't have to worry about that.
yeah, but we'll have the full board.
Well, okay. Let's do it Friday.
When do we want to hold the special town meeting, though? That's what we're. It's either the 30th or the 31st.
Doesn't make any difference to me, because I'm not gonna be here.
I say for sake of filming, Mondays have been good previously. We'd have to do it on the 30th. We
Yep.
can't have it on the 31st. We could have it on the 31st, but we risk not having the ability to have it filmed, which goes against our ordinance, so.
What's wrong with the 30th?
We were just trying to
That's-
give them one more day.
Who?
I was trying to give them one more day.
They can come in overtime.
It was so they could vote on it next Monday, and then I could get it to stand to hang on Tuesday. This was my theory behind it.
So I'd look for a motion to have the special town meeting on the 30th.
I'll second that.
All right, is there any discussion?
In that motion, the time is 6 o'clock?
Yep. So Mark, it'll have to be the fire department. And Alicia, can you reach out to SRCTV? All right, so March 30th at 6 PM at the fire department. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor? All right.
When are you looking to have the budget committee?
Yeah, and we'll have to meet, the select board will have to meet this week at some point. We can set a meeting date now, and hopefully have a joint meeting with the budget committee this week.
We're doing that recount tomorrow, can we have a Thursday night?
Yeah,
Should know by then.
yeah.
That'd be even better.
How long do you think the recount will, it won't take, like, into
We
the,
have to count 351 ballots, so
How long is it gonna take?
what'd you say?
5 times, 5 people.
I'm gonna say maybe an hour, hour and a half.
What time do you start?
So 6 PM, we'd be good to have a meeting on Thursday, hopefully.
That's up to, well, they want to change the time for Thursday?
No. So the recount is still allowed in the morning. The select board to meet to go over this warrant.
Sorry, you got it.
We are wondering,
Nothing to do with me.
do you think 6 p.m. will be, from 10 to 6 p.m. would be adequate time to recount?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to come in at 6 and you guys are still recounting, so.
Totally misunderstood that one. We're good. So the recount is still at 10 a.m. here in
Yes.
this room, Thursday, March 19th.
Yes.
That's all I got. Have a good night.
Thank you.
So are you looking to meet on Thursday with budget?
Yes.
And if there's only 2 budget members, what does that mean? Because you potentially could, you're already down 1. You could potentially be down 2, and you have 3 left, and if that does not work for all 3, I guess there needs to be the plan.
Yeah, I don't know. I do have a resignation letter that I was going to read later tonight for someone on the budget committee. So I don't know what that means if we don't have
What does it mean, Dee, if there's not enough budget members, what does that mean?
No quorum?
They can't vote, make their recommendation, is it just?
And more in trouble because they have to make a recommendation.
And Brady and yours.
Susan is in Hawaii until the 26th.
Susan here.
Wonderful.
So we.
Once we resign, you can resign after.
He already did it, as well as letters already.
Yeah, this letter. Yeah.
What does it take to refill those seats?
Oh, wow.
Nobody wants to volunteer for anything for this town, so.
Oh, we could have potentially 3. We have a new member. Susan
You
King.
think?
You guys are going today, but you would have to have,
Yes, that's 3 out of the 5.
if Lori's on the board, that takes her off. So you'd have to have, for sure, you need to have
Well,
Stephanie.
your position's already technically over, right, on the budget committee?
Okay, so no
'Cause
mind.
yeah.
So you have to definitely
Actually, I
have,
was sworn in till March 31st. That's when we do the appointment papers, and you have been sworn in for select board.
It's gray area, but
How about if I play dual role?
Maybe we should have a better schedule for voting so we have the time to deal with such problems in the future.
Okay, I'll take recommendations next year for a better schedule on voting. I don't know. This is what we've done in the past, and it seemed to work, but I guess not.
I think the town ordinances says you have to, what is it, the first weekend in March or whatever, they tell you what.
I was gonna say, those dates come from the state.
You got that voting to change that.
Do you have to re-vote on them and not change the substance? If you change the substance in any way, I was thinking that
It's a new warrant.
it's a new warrant, okay?
We need new recommendations.
It has to be funded, just how much it's funded for, right?
Correct.
So, Brady? Sure, why not?
how is that ordinance written? Does it say we have to have that budget committee recommendation?
I think, Dee Dee, are you, sorry, Lori, yes.
Suggestion, since she's not here, I could sit in for the budget committee, not get sworn in for select board until after.
I mean, they're doing the
Provided
recount
the
the same day anyway, so you can
Right.
get sworn in the next day.
Did 2 members resign?
From my understanding, Steve had volunteered to be on the budget committee until this previous meeting, election. So I don't, it would,
You have to go one more meeting, period. Until
Okay.
he sends in a resignation letter, we won't tell him that.
okay.
I'll tell him that. I have told him that, actually, if he doesn't send it in.
Well, technically, you could quit anytime you'd like.
Did Dave Coleman quit?
Yes.
So if you could get Steve, Wendy, and Lori, for sure.
on Thursday night.
What's wrong with Stephanie?
Phone Stephanie, ask Stephanie.
I say, if you
No.
can't, if you don't have to use Lori, don't use her.
Stephanie is resigned.
Because Stephanie went
Yeah.
out and, yeah, yes.
Well,
Yes,
we're all set.
Okay. Yep.
She hasn't won anything yet. She's nothing. She's still in budget.
Okay, so we will attempt to meet Thursday, the 19th at 6 PM here. With the select board and the budget committee. Correct.
What is the warrant? Are you changing? Are you looking to do the same? Are you looking for Julie's one?
I think Julie should be broken down.
Broken down?
Two lots.
Yeah.
One for the deputy treasurer, give her out of the one with the treasurer.
But then leave the others the same?
I mean, I don't,
Can't word them the same way.
yeah, we'd have
You
to,
change the
Change the
amount.
money amount or do something.
Okay.
Although like she said, you could amend it on the floor, but I'm still do that.
Can I ask you guys a question about the legal fee one? If we used MMA a little bit more and a attorney less, could that at all be dropped? A little bit?
The auditing was the biggest thing, because last year was budgeted $9,500 and we paid $30,000 for the auditing firm. Legal was underneath their budget.
Yeah, but that audit kept
I mean, I'm not saying that's not a bad
on.
idea, but I was saying the problem was with the auditing is the amount that we paid for the audit. That's where the extra is coming from.
Yeah, but nothing says we're gonna go through that again.
But you still have 2025 to do, so do we?
I mean, you
Well,
just,
we're not gonna have the same firm doing it.
Well, you already said on another meeting that they're the only company that would even do business with us, but they want 30 grand down. Nobody else in the state wants anything to do with us, so you know you're gonna have at least
But you
30.
got one.
You found one?
I'm gonna pick on the legal fees, because legal fees, it like automatic. We contact the attorney. Well, contact MMA first, because they're free to use, and if they can't help you, they tell you to contact the attorney. So it's gonna save some money.
Oh, I know what's cool.
I'm always about saving money.
I think we ought to just look at that, look at the budget, see what we spent.
yeah.
Take, not discount that, outreach out, because that was ridiculous.
I just need to know how you want to put
Wording.
it together. That's-
Yeah, I think the treasurer's, but the deputy versus the actual treasurer, to be split out like we did with the other departments. And then I think the others will,
Yeah, admin budget was up 3%. Go back 3%. Literally. That had no recommendation, but it was the 3% increase. That was it. So if you go back 3%, that can be worked in somehow. The biggest increase in that was postage, and that's because anybody knows postage is gone up considerably. So you can use last year's number on admin if you want.
Did we have any area that was excessive as far as that postage? Did we have something going on we really had?
It was just postage that was the biggest thing. Other things
Yeah, but
were,
I'm saying, did we do something that we normally wouldn't do that brought that postage figure up?
no, I think it just depends on how many things get sent out, how many certifieds, like, it just depends on what each department is. I mean, a certified letter now is like $10 and something, almost $11 for one. So I mean, that right there was a huge cut into our budget.
And that was the overall increase in postal services.
Yeah, if you look, that was the biggest, that was why that budget was up, but it was only up 3% from
Right.
last year's. Yeah, I mean, exactly, you never know how many of those are gonna go out, so.
Well, can we do this in between now and Thursday? Look at those 4 areas and say where we can cut?
I think so, yeah,
And
we can
then
come.
decide what Thursday night.
We really should have you need to have a warrant before we come to the meeting on Thursday night.
Yeah, but not for the actual figures.
Well, you should, because you're gonna ask your budget committee to vote on it, and that has to be a warrant that needs to be signed by you
What I'm
guys.
saying is we'll finalize the figures that night. We don't have to,
Oh, well,
well, you can have the paperwork all done,
Yeah.
The actual wording of it.
Are you able to be here Thursday night? So you can edit the warrant, or? Okay. All right. That is all I have for department reports. I open it to, oh, yeah?
It's just on the tax quiet nonsense. I guess Julie had messaged me today because she got the right to know thing, a letter, I mean, the email or whatever, regarding the tax acquired property. Someone wanted a copy of the checks for the properties that got deposited into the bank, I guess. And also wanted to know how much for each property on tax acquired that we took in money. Again, I've told a lot of people, January in '24, Laura was still here until March, our previous treasurer. After she left and stuff, again, November in 2023, we started projects. I'm not saying anybody's hiding money or stealing money or anything, but projects did get started. And we didn't have the grant money yet, which come along a year later, so we started selling tax acquired property, which should have probably done some of it a long time ago. But anyways, they want to know what accounts this tax acquired money went into. So I told Julie I would run the report out of cash receipting, seeing how I receipted most of it once everything got going. So anyways, we have a G180 account, then you have the 170, and they had the 170 is one account, 175 is another account, the 180 account. Those are all goes into the general ledger account because it's real estate. It was liens or whatever. So the total of what went into the real estate account, the general ledger, it didn't go into capital project reserve, it went into the general ledger account, was $186,552.96. Your capital project reserve account, which is the 186 account at that time set up, and the other one was a 131 general account that was set up for capital project reserve, was $469,496.26. So that was the cost, and that's without the cost and stuff, that was just tax acquired. So, then we were talking about a housekeeping article where we can spend tax acquired money goes into capital project reserve account. Which if you read your general stuff that you have for a housekeeping article, again, I don't know if it's been updated before the new law came into effect, saying that the money has to go back to the property owner after your cost is taken out of it, and you get your tax money back that was due. So I don't know, you might want to look at that housekeeping article again, make sure it's up to speed with the new state law. So again, I got the numbers right here. I got the accounts that it goes into for 2024. So what the next step would be is to go into budgetary for 2024 with those account numbers that through cash receipting, where it went, the tax acquired, and make sure that that is still there in '24. Unless someone moved it into another account, into the capital, if that should have been in capital project, should have been under the general ledger account, I know this is all right over your heads, but anyways, I have got it. So, Mr. Medici, I already invited him up when we had the special town meeting at the fire station. I still have it. Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So one of my main reasons for accepting the 4 votes to come on the Budget Committee, because I'd like to help the treasurer and help the town get back on track. And I spent a couple of days doing a spreadsheet and going by the audit, what they had for balance and imbalances of 2024. And I've already spoke to Julie about this, and I asked her for a new GL summary. A recent one, because the one I had was a little older than 316. So I took her end imbalances. I do have differences based on audit and based on what's on the general ledger. And I told her that I would go through this, and I want to sit down with her and see and identify all of these differences. Some of them are easy to identify. It's where you get to the capital project accounts where it's a little hard to trace. And so these things can be quickly adjusted. And so on the spreadsheet, to make it easier for her and for me, is I went through, put the page number down in the audit to say, this is where they have their transactions. So you see on the schedules E, F, G, H, I, J, all the different special revenues, the capital project accounts, and they show, they'll show the beginning balance, and they'll show up any monies received or any monies dispersed. And if you do go into the audit, I can't remember what page it's on, but you do see a tax-acquired property capital project account that the auditors made. And I don't know if Julie got to, I don't see it on her general ledger summary as a named account. And you also have the capital project regular reserve, and you have capital project fire station account. And the tax acquired property one, I find $258,000 there. And then the capital project reserve account has $482,000. Well, I don't believe those numbers are correct. There's a little bit of difference. And then on the general ledger summary, you do see that one of the project accounts does have a debit balance, and capital accounts are reserve accounts which have credit balances. And I think that her and I will be able to go through this quickly and identify things so that we can get back on track, so that you can close out the books for 2024, move on to 25, pick up your balances forward, and get that done, and hopefully 2026 will be okay. It's not going to be perfect, but I think it will help a lot. She needs some assistance there. It's a lot. It's overwhelming. I've read through the audit, and I found places, one place in the audit says that it reclassified names of accounts from 2023. Why they reclassified them, they moved them from a non-major account to a major account. If you don't do accounting, it doesn't mean anything to you. It goes into a general account. But that, if Judy would kindly give that to me.
Caused a lot of problems.
Yes, yes.
The spending is what caused problems, that money we didn't have yet, we were gonna get it, but what's that, we really have to worry about it at that time.
All righty. Yeah.
Just to be clear, I might have misunderstood Judy, but Hollandville had a bridge loan. And the interest was budgeted in our plan, okay? $40,000 was the budget for interest. And it was no different than the bridge loan for the fire department. It was a bridge loan that paid all of the expenses as the project happened in 2023. In 2024, the grant came in for $1 million. We're still waiting for the adjusting entry to be made that's reflected in the audit but not on the books of any report that has been given to the public yet. I'm sure it's in activity pending, okay? But this project was always funded, and it was funded correctly, and it had nothing to do with the capital reserve being anything, okay? Just want you to know that, and the public to know that. Thank you.
Cheryl?
Sitting there listening to one say this, one say everybody. I think there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and maybe we shouldn't be spending money. We got grants coming in, we got millions of dollars coming in, and that's fantastic, but I don't think one of them has come in on time, and they've always had to dip into the funds of the town to do this, and then seems everything gets screwed up because when the grants finally come in, something doesn't happen here, there. I think we ought to have one kitchen, one cook in the kitchen, and leave her alone.
There's only one person making the entries.
I asked the fire chief when he gave his budget, and he was saying how he came under and all that, and I asked him when he came back, sat next to me, I said, what about the building? He never answered about the building. What's the building cost? He never said there was a building. He said electricity, he said water, he said all the other things. He said them all. And that's great, and it's all under. I said, what about that? Said he was gonna get back to me. Never got back to me. That's fine. But he said, well, you know, it's in the capital, or the capital reserve, or the capital fund, or whatever. Here's the thing. The fire department, if you have a mortgage or a rent payment, you should have it. You should factor it in. I'm sure the dump's been there forever, and they upgraded that building however many years ago. I'm pretty sure it's paid for. They don't have a mortgage, so it shouldn't, so when you give a budget, you should include all of it. And whether it's in there or not. So the fire department has a mortgage. The old fire department, I assume, doesn't have one. Never had one. Well, I'm sure it did 25, 30 years ago. But you gotta include that. You just can't come, and that includes with all this other stuff that we gotta see where all this money is going. We gotta see where it goes. And if the fire department for that new building is, round number, $5,000 a month just for that building, not electricity, not all the other stuff, you gotta include it in the budget. You can say, hey, my budget's this, but remember, our building is costing us $100,000 a year. Okay, but we all need to see it. We just all need to see the numbers, all the numbers.
And just that, Article 43, shall the town vote to raise and I understand what you're saying, but Article 43 did read $122,726 for interest and principal payments for debt services for the ensuing year for the new fire station. So it's...
But he didn't state that along with the budget. He squawked up and down how we were under budget, and you know, he saved 5,000 here, and he saved 4,000 here, and he saved 3,000 here. That's all great. I'm not tearing it down, but just make sure that he should state the other additional money for that building. And like this building, This building, I assume, is paid for. It's a paid for, but I know there's a lot of cost in fixing this place. A lot. You need to put that in, and you need to divide it out among the library, among the town clerks, among all of it. You need to come up with a number, so we go, hey, they're ponying this much in the pot. You got multiple properties. I have multiple family that own land in this town. And we just don't go, oh, okay, everything's just on 21. Everything just comes back to that. No, you gotta show all the numbers so we can go, hey, they were more this year, they were less this year. They were a little, okay. And Joanne, the dump lady, okay, that's great. She always comes up and lists all the stuff down. List it down.
All right. That is all I have for department reports. I'm opening it to hearing of citizens.
Good evening, Sean Mackey, 11 Division. Questions on 3 Division. Spoke with Stan last week. He said there wasn't enough people for a quorum on last Monday. I figured he'd be here tonight to talk about it. Just me and the other abutters are curious of what's going on with 3 Division, because according to Stan, the landowner has turned down all the offers he's had on it. Stan told me on phone call that he's proceeding with demolition of the building. The rat situation is getting out of control. I'm getting tired of it. I have consulted with an attorney on the lackadaisical part of the town. It's been 6 months since we had that meeting at the fire department. And Brady, you and I have talked that we assumed this building would be gone by now. You know, just trying to see where the board is on this. I mean, you guys have got 7 offers to tear that place down, but we seem to be giving people that don't want help more and more and more opportunity, where us abutters that are getting screwed.
I know Stan did send out an email today with an update saying that the offers were declined, the property owner declined the offers. I responded to that email asking what is needed to proceed with the next steps, and I have not heard a response yet.
You just got that email today?
I got the email today, the same one that you got. You were on that same email, the update. And
I spoke to Stan last Monday, so it took him a week to get an email out about the guy turning it down. Because last month, show you right in the text message, me and him went back and forth, and I called him. So last Monday, the guy turned down the offer because, I mean, he wants $300,000 for a meth lab that's got 80,000 pounds of trash inside. I've had enough. Chad behind me, he wanted to come tonight, but he's busy at work. He's had enough. You know, the lady across the street, I don't know what her name is, but she has a rat problem. They're migrating up to the gentleman that's right behind me. He's had 3 of them that have died in his driveway from the poison that Chad and I are putting out to try to keep our homes from being destroyed. I mean, I work hard, I pay my taxes, I don't make a lot of money, but when my house is getting destroyed due to that place next door, it's hard to take. You know, like I said earlier, we've been 6 months waiting and waiting and waiting.
Stan was on the agenda last week. How come it's not on the agenda? Because this hasn't changed much, pretty much in 4 weeks.
I'm unsure. He must have not been able to make it tonight. I don't know. I don't know if the rest of the board has had any communication about 3 Division. I know I sent that email. I'm in favor of proceeding with eliminating the issue, but I know we're not making that decision tonight. But I don't know if the rest of the board has talked with our code enforcement officer any more about it, or has any recommendations.
Well, to begin with, if we're going to tear it down, we've got to have ownership of it. We just can't go in and tear somebody's house down just because we feel like we should. I sympathize with you, what you're going through.
Back at that meeting at the fire department, Stan and told us that as soon as the attorney had all the documents drafted up and it was signed, he was going to go to the courthouse that following Monday and file the paperwork, and the town would have ownership within 2 weeks. So the town should have some paper trail of ownership on that house. I mean, we've been 6 damn months. It's getting to be,
I haven't
you
seen
know,
anything
I mean,
come through
a whole
about
bunch of smoke's been blowing up my ass for 6 months. You know, like I said earlier, at other places, if this place was beside your house, that place would have been torn down and the town would put up a playground. But because it's beside my house, Chad's house, the other abutters, it's not that big an issue. You know,
I wouldn't say that, but
it's what it seems like. It really does, because, you know, you try talking with Stan, and he'll tell me one thing, and then he'll tell Chad something totally different. He's blowing smoke up our asses. You know, our property value is going down. Our homes are being destroyed. We just want some type of resolution. You know, if it's the town going in and completely gutting the place out and getting rid of all the trash and human feces and drug paraphernalia and everything else that's in there so we can get rid of the rodent population, whatever. We just want a resolution to the issue.
I think we ought to call the attorney and see where that stands. And if they haven't done anything, then we can call that, find out where that mortgage company is and call them up and say either take care of it or we're going to get a court order. Just go right ahead, because these guys, that law firm's playing games, as far as I'm concerned.
I thought the mortgage company already said they wanted.
No, the mortgage company hasn't said a damn thing.
No.
He hasn't paid on that house since 2020. So he hasn't made a mortgage payment in 6 years.
And they said that you wanted.
It's been put out to a realtor, and I don't know. Stan was dealing with a realtor, and they put a price tag of $299,000 on the place. So now-
$271.
$299.
It was 299, 271. It was a weird ending, last 3 digits, but.
So now the property owner thinks he's going to get $299 out of it when it's a complete disaster, and he got offered, according to Stan, he got offered a fair price that would have covered what was owed on it and put it around 10 grand in his pocket, but the landowner wants way more, and he's not going to get it. I've had enough. I really have.
Well, technically, at this point, he doesn't own the property.
He hasn't paid on it in 6 years.
Well, like I said, they foreclosed on it. He doesn't own the property anymore.
They finally foreclosed on it?
That means the bank owns it, the mortgage company.
Somebody owns it. We don't know who.
So how can,
And I've never been told who it is.
so how can the landowner say that that he refuses the offer? He
shouldn't even be involved in it.
Exactly.
Well, that's the other issue too, because Stan keeps letting them go back in the house. You know, he says the house is condemned and no people should be in there. They were in it 3 times last week. It's like, and from the 6 months we've been there, they've probably been in that place 100 times, you know, supposedly getting their valuables out of there. How many times do you need to go in the house to get your valuables out?
Well, supposedly that email we got this afternoon.
They're
said
getting a U-Haul.
They were getting a U-Haul and they're going to be hauling it out within a week. Everything.
Yeah, one-time deal.
Gonna be getting a U-Haul and hauling everything out?
That's what the email we got today said.
You could get 100 dump trucks and not haul everything out of that place in a day. You know, you guys paid to have 7,000 pounds of trash picked up off the yard. That's just what was on the grass, because I complained about it enough in the you know, crows and shit spreading it everywhere.
Brady, do you want me to call that attorney in the morning?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I know Stan has also been in communication with them, but if you want to check with Stan first, I'm fine with that.
I'll talk to Stan in the morning. If he hasn't done anything, I'll call that attorney.
Thank you very much. Can you reach out to me in an email and let me know what's going on?
Yeah, I just don't have your...
He was CC'd on that email we got today.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Walter Brecker.
Just for the respect of the people at home and the taxpayers, you know, a lot of talk going out of the crowd here tonight. So if you got something to say, you come to the podium like the rules say. I think that's, needs to be applied here. People at home deserve that much courtesy.
Is there any other hearing assistants? Seeing none. We'll move on to old business. Review of legal accounts. There was a bill last week in the amount of $1378. A lot of it was the code enforcement officer and some general government communication back and forth about miscellaneous items, and that bill is available. Municipal parking lot paving update, Howard?
Yeah, I spoke to Smegel Technics. Actually, I met with Aaron Hunter last week. And we have the whole package that they gave us. We're at the point right now where we can't move any farther, and I have to look, see what we've got in the budget for this, but we've already had a conceptual site plan done, the surveying, the existing conditions, the boundary survey now is going to cost us $6,500, and this is under the agreement that we've got with them. And we've got to have that done before we go into site engineering, which is another $19,500. So we've got to come up with basically $26,000 just to finish out that engineering, and then that will take care of getting everything out to bid. And then we still got to do the project.
I'd have to look at the ledger, but we should have that in the capital account for this building for paving.
It's
Getting close.
anybody who's walked down that parking lot knows something's got to be done. It's just
Driving in it today, too.
maybe from what you were saying here tonight about the project, water project, maybe we'll see some lower prices. But Aaron said he could get started on that, and hopefully we can get something done this year. But we're also looking, at a minimum, we're probably looking around $350,000.
For just the backside.
Yep. So.
Deep Vale update, discussed during department reports. John Cleveland, Neil Meltzer gave report on that. Gail, did you have anything else on that one?
No.
Okay. Discussion of system administrator. We're waiting on a written proposal from Chris. Haven't received that yet. New auditing firm. I did receive an answer back from the auditor that I felt comfortable with, and I want to talk about it here tonight before the letter gets signed. I spoke with the auditor, and she informed me that while, yes, the general ledger and the audit should line up, if they don't, that is not a reason to hold off from signing the audit letter, that the audit is still accurate, and if there's any pending items on our side, that can be handled in-house internally. So I would look for a motion from the select board to authorize the signing of that letter.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
No.
All those in favor? All right, and I'll abstain as I'll sign it. So I'll print that off and sign that. Rec director, I did get one resume that, did this get forwarded to everybody? Okay, everybody has a copy of this. For the Parks and Rec director, we'll have to set up a time to meet with this person if we want to take this home and review it, and we can also wait until we have a full board.
Okay.
If that works for everybody else.
You all done with that?
What?
You all done with that?
I'm done,
We
yep.
We need to go back one to that new auditing firm.
Okay, yep.
Once that audit is signed, The guy said that he can come up and meet with us, and he wants to look things over before he actually gives us
A price.
an idea.
Okay. June ballot questions, acceptance of Emma's Way, paving for the municipal building, moving of funds, supply, incidentals, consulting and legal budget for comprehensive committee, money for Grange Hall ceiling, request to add treasurer position from elected to appointed. We did receive a letter from, I can read the letter. Dear Select Board, I'm writing to ask if you would consider putting an article ballot on the special town meeting that will be held on Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. As you know, we voted and accepted to change the tax collector and town clerk positions from appointed to elected at the December 10th, 2026 special town meeting. I did question at that time why the treasurer position was not included in that same article, as all three positions all tie together. With all three positions being the same, it's less confusing when trying to remember which positions are appointed or elected. This will also eliminate all elected positions for the employees that hold full-time positions at the municipal offices. I have included an article that I'd like you to consider. This is the same article that was amended from December 10th, 2026. The only difference is that it states treasurer instead of tax collector and town clerk. Thank you for your time. Dee Dee Tibbetts, town clerk, town of Limerick. So that is 2 requests to have the treasurer changed from elected to appointed. And so that is what we have on that right now.
That warrant is due April 10th.
Jeez.
Okay. So we have 3 meetings.
I say that every meeting.
I know.
We get it done.
The YCSWCD grant, we're waiting to hear back from Jim to come in and have a meeting. We sent him what we picked for options. That is for the grant for the building. Tax acquired properties, we can call realtors and ask for proposals. This is what we did before. Stan handled it that time as the select board's really not supposed to be involved in that process because we're the ones who decide who it goes to, not who it goes to, but to sell the property. But I know last week, if we want to, we can call and get proposals. Last time, we just had them come up with we had them each look at the same piece of property and come up with a price and a way to sell it. That's what we did last time to see which one presented the best, and that's how we picked. But we can do whatever we want to do with that. That is all I had for old business.
What did we pay for commission on those?
I think it was,
They added that into their proposals. They're normally either 5% or 6%.
I think it was 6%.
Just depends.
For new business, set up public hearing for CIA salvage on recycler license. We did get this renewal license, and we do need to hold a public hearing on it. There is a question on here for March 30th, if March 30th would work. But it will not work.
Do the following week?
We can do the following week. We could do that Tuesday. We could do we have a couple different options. Well, you won't be here that week, Howard, right?
No.
Okay, so the following week would
I'd
work.
like to be here for that one.
Okay. I'm fine with the 6th at 6.
Good.
6th at 6. The 6th at 6. If that works for the rest of the board, I'd look for a motion on that.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor? All right. You'll let Stan know, Alicia? Thank you. 2 proposals to discuss from Otis Elevator. Did they just send these automatically, or did we? Yeah.
And I did go back with a couple texts.
Have they gotten back to you yet?
No.
Okay. I saw these today.
There's always something that's coming right into it.
Did we ever reach out to a different elevator company? I know we mentioned
I
it.
did try Pine Tree a few times, but never got a response back.
Okay. These two proposals, one is for $19,029 and one is for $20,044.02.
That sounds like a lot of money. for what
Yeah.
they're gonna do. I was just reading why Dee Dee was
No, one is just like a cleaning or
Yeah, one is an annual.
$19,000, sorry.
it is
That
crazy,
doesn't-
and they are super expensive, and I think it's just a generalized elevator thing. I mean, just to come out here, it's like a $700 just to drive to this building if we have a problem.
Way out of line.
You wanna make sure it don't fall? They're kinda certified to do it,
Oh,
right?
but just to come out there, the service fees are ridiculous.
Unfortunately, everything nowadays is.
If the board wishes, I can call Pine State and talk to them. I know we used to do work with them down the college.
I'm fine with that. I worked with them in my last building, and that was.
We don't have a contract with Otis, we're in, so that's
Okay.
just.
Yeah. Is the rest of the board okay with?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Alrighty, that is all I have for new business. Appointments and resignations. I do have a resignation letter from Dave Coleman. Please accept this as my formal resignation from the Town of Limerick Budget Committee effective March 13th, 2026. This decision was not made lightly. However, I have concluded that I can no longer effectively fulfill my responsibilities due to the ongoing lack of clarity, accuracy, and timeliness in the town's financial reports and account balances. Sound decision-making requires accurate, complete, and current financial information to ensure accountability. At present, the financial data provided is not current and is incomplete, if not incorrect. While I recognize that responsibility for the town's funds ultimately rests with the select board and the treasurer, the limitations of the available financial information make it difficult to responsibly carry out the duties that assigned to the budget committee. As established in 2011 pursuant to 30 AMRSA subsection 3001, the town ordinance defines the budget committee powers and duties to include accepting testimony, reviewing financial data, and making monetary recommendations on the annual budget as submitted by elected officials, department heads, and non-municipal agencies. Accept testimony, review financial data, and make monetary recommendations on capital expenditures. Accepting testimony, reviewing financial data, and making monetary recommendations regarding supplemental appropriations, expenditures, and other budgetary actions when proposed by elected officials, and making other recommendations on fiscal matters as the committee may deem advisable. Without reliable and accurate financial data, I do not believe I continue to meet those obligations in a manner consistent with the intent of the statute or to the best interests of the town. I appreciate the opportunity to have served the residents of Limerick and wish the town success in addressing these financial challenges moving forward. Respectfully, David Coleman. So that is that. That is all I have on that one. I open it to discussion of agenda items. Heath.
Good evening. As you know, tried to go through the proper channels in the town. Two selectmen received the email from Alicia. Howard did a couple meetings after the fact.
No, that's not true. We absolutely got it at the same time.
Okay, well,
Prove that with emails.
all I know is what I was told by the selectman, he hadn't received it. You're new to this, Jerry, so I'm going to read this for the public. So this will start my conversation with you people. It says, Alicia, I received a call today by a gentleman by the name of Charlie Pellegrino. He stated by telling me one of my drivers had thrown screws on the road last week and today causing him to get screws in his tires. He just proceeded to say, we all know who it is, it's Heath Edgerly. He also threatened my employee, telling me that tell Heath I'll meet him anywhere, anytime, and knock him out. My response was that Heath tires, Heath Edgerly is 1,200 miles away with his family in Florida. How is he throwing screws in your tires? That pretty much briefly ended that conversation. He told me he drove his truck through the chain, which I had left a paper there. I put a padlock on the chain that goes into the brush area, okay? Because anybody comes down from the dump, this has been discussed over several years, they wander into there and they say, oh, geez, there's an open gate. Let's go see what's over here. Well, this is an area that, as Mr. Bridges said, that this is set aside for the plow contractor. We have fuel. We now have cameras there. It's gotten to that point. And they all come to my phone, and I see everybody that come and went while I was in Florida. He said he drove his truck through the chain at the salt barn. So he's already admitted to it. The only thing it damaged of the towns really was they had a carabiner and it stretched it out straight, but my padlock, of course, it shattered it. So I'll eat the padlock. But he drove his truck through town property, okay? He's admitted to that. The chains are up to protect my equipment, and he's not part of the select board or a contractor. I had to fill him in that he is, later on, was, even though Ricky has the contract, he was approved by the board after the fact to be a subcontractor, which says in the contract. So I feel he doesn't have any right in my designated area given to me by the town, and I'd like the select board to address this issue. We don't want confrontation between the two gentlemen. And again, he told me he wants to fight my employee. I've never once heard Heath mention or say anything bad about this gentleman in my presence. Thank you. I hope to get this resolved. Dennis Bridges, Bridges Trucking. And this is on 2/25, mind you, okay? What's today's date? I came into Stan's office with Howard and had a sit-down meeting last Saturday. Because supposedly, where he's the neutral party and he's the constable, so I was kind of figuring that on agenda items, I'd have an agenda here with you people tonight. But we're going on 3.5 weeks, and not only a threat on town property, damaging a town property, all I hear is crickets. I know you don't know, Jerry, this is all new to you. But somewhat of a timeline so people understand. I left on the 22nd, Sunday, 6:30 p.m. to try to beat the storm that everybody got buried in Massachusetts. Actually, I had to go way out around New York, and I hit Florida about 26 hours later. This phone call from Mr. Pellegrino to my boss came in some point in time after I had left, because I got a phone call. I was already in the Keys. 2/25, you guys received a letter letting the board all know that this happened. I'm not really veering too far off because it's just, this here is considered a GRK screw, okay? Anybody that does carpentry, you understand what that is, right? Fairly large screw. I'm not sure who, but at the end of Enterprise Road, the weight limit signs are screwed into a tree, okay? We're not allowed to put tree stands. We've always done it on the stop sign. There's 2 of these holding a pine board up. So I don't know whether it was Mr. Richardson or his subcontractor that helps him, screwed into a tree, okay? Well, I got a picture on my phone from my boss. Well, I guess I'll have to lead up to that because we normally park the loader in the shed beside the salt building. And the way the camera's situated, that there's no way you're getting near my equipment without me seeing you, okay? I had a pickup stuck on Nason Road at 11 o'clock, and the boys have been all night. I called up one of my drivers and said, hey, I'm sorry to wake you. Wally's stuck up on Nason Road. You're going to have material. He pulls it out of the shed, loads himself, shuts it off in the salt barn, the sand shed that we had erected out back. So not necessarily where we normally park our machine, okay? 3/5, Dennis sends me, he says, this is awful convenient, and I have a flat tire on my loader, okay? This GRK was sitting beside the tire, not in the tire, sitting there, almost like a warning sign, okay? Thought that was kind of coincidental, but like I said, it wasn't in a coverage area where my camera could see it, so speculation, okay? I just know that this screw is the same screw that holds up road-posted signs. Tire company came out from New England, Sullivan Tire, and I guess it's now used to be in Sanford, I don't know, used to be Century or Central. The valve stem is positioned in a way that inside the rim, there's no way you could rub up. It's like a skidder. You could rub up against stumps, and it can't. He said that something had dismantled relocated, pretty much jarred it enough so that was why we had a flat tire. They fixed it, great, all good to go. 3/7. I had just got done loading my truck up, preparing for another storm. I locked the chain on my way out. Of course, the dump chain's still wide open because I don't have another lock. 20 minutes after I go by, I got a picture of Mr. Pellegrino's loader. Chaz has the Tasmanian devil on the back. Goes right by my camera. Got him on my camera, time, date, stamped, everything. He gets to my chain, he sits there for a minute, he jigs himself around, he drives all the way back around, and you can see him come in, a couple shovels of snow, and he went up in the snow dump, whatever he's doing. Why is he going through the area? Still a question. I even asked my boss, I said, we still haven't got this resolved. On 3/14, I had seen Mr. Richardson up with his loader. Of course, dirt roads, it's pretty hard to manipulate any kind of a plow on dirt this time of year, so hence why he had his loader. But I did see Mr. Pellegrino. Now, I told you 20 minutes after I left, I seen him. Heaven being threatened, okay? I shouldn't have to look over my shoulder every time I turn around. If I was in the garage working on the loader and he comes up from behind me, why is he in the area? Anything that happens is now on this board, okay? Because you guys have definitely known about this now for 3 weeks, okay? I know my bosses this is why people don't bid on anything in town, because you guys don't deal with issues, okay? Now, however you want to move forward with this, you've had 2 weeks to react. We're going on week 3. I actually returned on 3/6, I'd say around 3:30 in the morning, because I took the motor home back down to RV America, and Saturday I was out scraping slush to give the crew, my guys, a break, because they pretty much worked every day while I was gone. While I see these people up working in the dump, I still felt vulnerable. I went and picked up the biggest rock I could find, and I put it in the archway that you're not going to plow through, not unless you got a lot bigger loader than what I got. And those two see it, which is fine. I felt that was my way to keep them, I don't have to watch over my back. I sent the picture of the rock to my boss, he's aware of it, no problem. Because we thought you people were going to lock this chain up. Anytime that anybody Wade had contacted, which is like a rarity, because it's usually Howard, but Wade had contacted Dennis about getting in there for snow removal or some asinine excuse, whatever. The chain was unlocked, and Dennis specifically told you, Wade, that end of that day, it was going to be locked back up.
He did not. He
Well,
did not.
you guys can discuss it. His mother's in with kidney stones tonight. I even got a picture of him, his mother in the hospital bed. Otherwise, I wouldn't be dealing with any of this, because I don't care. This business and his contract is with you guys. The threat was made against me. You people have done nothing about it. So, I'm asking for all parties to be involved. I want to be put on the agenda for next week. I don't feel, everything's public knowledge. I don't feel this needs to be no executive session. I'd like to know how we're going to move forward.
The state police has already been contacted, correct?
What's that now?
The state police has already been contacted?
Yep.
And they've already looked into it?
There's been a statement made, and yes, there's been a report
So
made.
they found that there was nothing, so you would have to check with
Dennis,
them
you'd
to
have to
find
ask
out.
Dennis what was in the report, but all I can tell you is I've acquired the screw that was found at the scene. So, I got no part of that, I weren't here. But, yet again, when he was in the area, 20 minutes after I left, and I had pictures to prove it, state police told me that the DA, of course, for the state of Maine is, take it as it is, they're about like the board. They don't do nothing until they have to. So they told me to proceed forward with a restraining order against him. So when there is a problem, the state police haul him to jail and they have means to prosecute him. I don't think we should have to go to that point. I don't want him in my area. I don't care what he does. But obviously he has a problem. I haven't seen the guy in how long? I've seen my mother call him out a couple times, but hey, I haven't been here in almost a year because I can't deal with this. This is, you guys stand there and look at each other and nod your heads and I don't see anything ever get done. So I'm asking, what are we gonna do about a threat made against me and damage of town property? That's what I'm asking.
I was under the impression that this was taken care of when Stan had talked with both parties and said that the discussion has been made and everybody's on the same page now.
No, because I actually sat in the office while we were waiting for Howard to show up, and there's an hour and 45 minutes of a complete recorded conversation of everything that was said in that room. Some things were about Division Drive, was none of my business, but here we are. So I'm done. He said, she said, okay? I don't trust any of you.
Okay.
Just so you know, Stan emailed me and asked me to come up here.
Okay.
And Howard specific.
But let me back up a little bit. But he also, first started out, he wanted to meet at my business, and I told him absolutely not.
And this is all see a text mail, you can have it all. But the thing is Howard sent a message to you, Brady, about an executive session. Your reply was, for what? And he said, the salt shed. Well, who's involved? Not, oh, well, you know, obviously this hasn't been taken care of. So no, you can't plead ignorance. You knew that we were requesting an executive session, could have dealt with this quietly, is what you probably would have rathered. But here we are, because this hasn't been resolved. I'm not happy with the way it's resolved.
So you'd like to be on the agenda for next week?
Yeah, and I'd like to know how the board's gonna move forward with destruction of town property, because if it was the other way around, I mean, it's funny too, because see, I expect my cameras, they're only $300, right? They don't take much. But Wade went out of his way, as he said, on 1/8 of an inch of snow, as one of your previous meetings. You can actually see the repair on my truck, if anybody's welcome. Dennis took my blade, and I got a brand new blade. The mechanic will even vouch for it. He'd come in and tell you that the way they had it hooked, the chain come unhooked. I could pick up one side of the plow, and all you see is fire going down the road. But it was bare hot top road. Wade had to allow permission for this guy to sand the sidewalks for 1/8 of an inch of snow, okay?
Salted.
So if that was the case, 1/8 of an inch, how much snow do you think I would throw on a road if I'm on bare road with a plow? But you took a week of your time to try to prove that the state didn't own a yellow plow truck because this multi-million-dollar...
It took me 2 days, Heath, 2 days.
You said it took you a week waiting for an answer from the state of Maine.
It took me 2 days.
You go watch the video, wait, all right? But I'm telling you, you got a multi-million-dollar camera system, and you can't see Dennis Bridges, it says a name right on the door. You went through all that work, okay? All you do is call up Dennis, like you called him up any other time.
Oh, you can't see the door.
A 2-minute...
The wing's up.
A 2-minute conversation would have answered that for you. Saved you a lot of grief, okay? But here we are. I've been crucified for putting slush on a sidewalk, okay? I mean, Lisa stood up here. They said that I ought to be fired. Mr. Ricka said, oh, you know, some clown in town, you know, I'm a pretty good guy running for selectman. And I'm sorry I didn't stand up here, but if you were wanted to be selectman bad enough, how many of you people even showed up to the vote? You didn't. You didn't.
Well, you called me a scumbag, so what's the difference?
Yeah, that's my right. I'm not running for selectman. You are a scumbag. Well, nobody's seen you in town, but we're not even going there. My point is if it was that important to you, you could have stood here and asked for a recount because it's important to you, okay?
Oh, hearsay. That's why the state police didn't do anything. You ain't got a foot to stand on.
Talk about standing up at the mic.
Okay.
But anyway, what are we going to do about destruction of town property? But now that I'm here asking you about it.
I mean, I'm one of 4. I was under the impression that it was taken care of until I got that text for an executive session, and I still really didn't get an answer in the text of what it was about, because I responded to the text message saying I was under the impression this was taken care of, and then I had to cancel last week's meeting. So I will gladly put you on the agenda for next week, but I don't have an answer on what you want, what to do until... I mean, I haven't had a chance to review everything. I'll take a look at the photos if you want to send them to me. Like, I don't have an answer for you right now.
Nothing better than eyeballs on somebody that sees something, right? Howard was talking to Dennis. Charlie comes around the corner with his pickup with no snow on the ground. I even got a picture of him. Drops his blade like, oh my God, somebody's here. And it startled him like, I got to have a reason to be here. You know, he only had the truck in 2-wheel drive and it stopped dead because it caught the mud. He actually had to pick his plow up and back up, okay? Now, this is right in front of a sitting selectman.
And the only reason I was down there because Dennis called me.
Yeah. But the reason is why are these people in there? I mean, how do we get
That's
to this?
town-owned property. That's been used for 30 years. That cable's been across that for 30 years. There has not been one issue. The common denominator in the whole thing is you.
Okay, so your mother sat here last week and said that there was kids in there. Well, anybody can get in the backside of the dump. You can drive right in and said you guys had some problem with kids. I thought we had cameras up there. Go watch the movie, Joanne. Not last week's way it was canceled.
No, that was not
Common denominator,
kids.
Wade?
That was not kids.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't kids? Who was it?
Oh, there's been people down there.
Oh, okay.
But they walk in from the main gate, they don't come through the back way.
Oh, so you have a main gate, there's a way in
Yes.
there outside of having to come through the contractor's area?
Not for that, no. Those trailers are 52 feet that haul the metal, that haul they do the brush.
They get in there pretty good with a straight job, with those roll-offs, right? A tractor trailer bends in the middle, okay? I got a Class
They don't
A, so
take-
you can talk about that all day
Oh, well,
long.
that's
If you feel that's
fantastic.
unsecure, maybe you should relocate the fence.
They don't go that way with the roll-offs.
How often?
They go through the
They
main
go right in
gate.
the main gate, right?
But they also, that's town-owned property.
Sure is.
I sent a text message to all of us. Brady and I said that the locks have to come down. I called Dennis and said the locks have to come out. He said, all right, I understand, I'll take them down.
That's not the conversation I had with him. I don't just put a rock there for something to do. There again, why hasn't the contractor been invited in? I mean, you guys just seem to think everything's hunky-dory. Why should I have to come? I'm in here because I had a threat made against me and you people
Well,
have
that's
done.
that's the state police. That's not us. Call the state police, have them do an investigation.
He's also a contractor in the town, and he's admitted
And if-
he's
yeah, and
admitted
if
to
the state
breaking your
police-
property,
if the state-
and he's threatened. So you're aware of
Okay.
it now. Now it's on you. The state police ain't got no problem if I got proof, and you've seen the proof that there's damaged property by a contractor. Is what you tried to say about the slush on the sidewalk, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, where do we go?
I mean, we can have a meeting next week if the rest of the board's okay with that. I mean, I don't have an answer for you, Heath. I don't.
So you're okay with property damage? There's nothing you want to deal with tonight?
A carabiner and a lock?
Well, probably could have been a chain if I bought a little stronger lock.
Yeah,
Regardless,
I've seen
I'm
the citizen.
Hey, what happens if you got a gate in your house and I blow through with my plow? I mean, you're okay with that?
All this is over a lock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't the board just say, we're not gonna do anything about it?
Well, that's my vote. The state police are
have
holding
They
it,
can handle
handling
it,
it.
and that's that.
Or just say you pay for the law.
And no disciplinary
Even
action for a employee that's supposed to be respectful of town property.
Not me.
Lying.
You'd have to ask her, she runs the audio.
He admitted it, this proof.
Right here.
Yes, right there, it's written down.
That's the letter written to the Board of Selectmen, that phone call, when the threat was involved. He admitted to breaking through the gate with his
She gave us a
pickup.
copy of it.
Who wrote the letter?
Dennis wrote it to the select.
The owner of the contractor sent it to Alicia, Alicia sent it to the board.
My God, that's stupid.
And he wants to be selectman. Oh. Shall we I guess I'll wait to hear from you.
The board should deal with, the board should deal with the.
Whoa.
The board should deal with the owner.
Excuse me, one citizen at a time at the mic to address the citizens of Limerick.
Simmer down.
Excuse me.
Simmer down, he's telling you to simmer down. That's priceless. Have a good night, guys. I'll wait to hear from you.
Is there any more discussion of agenda items? Ricky?
Ricky Richardson, Road Commissioner. I just want to share some clarity on a comment that was made about Article 50, even though it was passed. I thought the townspeople would like an explanation about this article. When the Budget Committee asked me to attend the meeting for the 2026 budget, I was glad to participate. It took me quite a bit of time and some late nights to put the numbers together and a plan. When we met, the Budget Committee, of course, asked a lot of questions, leaving over a lot of numbers and concerns of the growth of the town, the future of the town roads. The bottom line is we came up with the budget that we agreed on. It stayed within the guidelines for the taxpayers. Then came the question about the remaining money for the paving account, which was $53,000 last year. One of the Budget Committee members made a suggestion to include it in an article to carry the remaining money over and put it in towards repair of highways. I thought that was a great idea. Not only would that money go towards finishing shoulder work on Stonehill Road, but also towards hazardous trees, ditch work, and other road improvements in the town where needed. That's what we all discussed. So with that being said, I'd like to thank the Budget Committee for their hard work and making time to get a solid budget for 2026. They're a hard-working group of people, and we worked very well together. So as the town grows very rapidly, let's keep the roads safe and the traffic moving. And I just wanted to share that with you, that the money wasn't designated for one particular item. It was designated to finish a project, and the money left over go towards the repair of highways. So it was kind of put in the article, it looked like it was one thing, but it was not. The Budget Committee suggested that, which was awesome. And I'm gonna miss working with the Budget Committee. We're gonna probably got some new members coming up, but the old Budget Committee was a pretty good group of people to work with. And I just want to have a special reach out to Alicia for thanking me for everything. I appreciate that. If anybody's got any questions, I'm all ears. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion of agenda items? Joanne?
When all this mess is taken care of, I would like to know who's going to contact, who do I contact to let people in the lower gate that have always used the lower gate for the transfer station? And I have always, for 24 years, I have monitored that chain by the brush pile. I have 54-foot trailers that they cannot get through the gate. Sometimes they have troubles with the roll-offs getting through the gate, depending on the driver. I have dirt direct that comes in with a grinder. That piece of equipment is absolutely huge. So who am I going to contact when I need to have this huge rock moved, when for 20-some years there's been a chain there that I have monitored because I am in charge of solid waste? That also includes the old cap. It's up to me to make sure that they don't put equipment within 100 feet of that cap. So who do I go to when I need access for the town's transfer station?
Are we going to have an executive session to straighten this all out?
He said he didn't want an executive session. Cheryl?
If Joanne had been taking care of the chain, which she said she's done for so many years, which is fine, but if one of the town employees hadn't destroyed it and messed up the security of the salt shed and area, then maybe the rock wouldn't be there. So it goes back to the destruction of town property.
I think the board will have to reach out and see who authorized the rock to be there. I mean, that's...
Who authorized someone to drive through the chain?
Okay, but we're in the process of dealing with that.
I'm just saying, it all is in one.
Okay.
You can't separate one from the other.
Sounds good. Is there any other discussion of agenda items?
What was presented to you guys here tonight is all hearsay. He got no proof. So there's no sense in wasting town time and money. If he thinks there's a criminal act done, he needs to go to state police and they'll do an investigation. If there's something found, then maybe you guys would be responsible to act. But as of right now, you have no authority to do anything. There's no reason for you to do anything.
Is there any other discussion of agenda items? We do have some correspondence. We do need to discuss, once we have a full board, the silencing of cell phones. We have received 2 complaints about that. I haven't heard any go off tonight, which was nice. With that, no other correspondence, no other discussion of agenda items. I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? All right, thank you.